somebody's apparently buying a G-Wagon out here, so I just stopped by Cadillac to see what, updates on my car, and they said that there's a Sport 3 being shipped up here. I'm not sure if it's mine or not, but they should know in, I guess another week. We got that SF90. Man, it's like they're making, these McLarens are like everywhere. I think this is a 720. Yeah, this is a 720S. These fucking things are everywhere. I don't see any Lamborghinis out here this time, so I guess they must have sold them. Got that G63. When I was at the auto show yesterday, a lot of SF90s. I think it's on the website. I think they want like 400 or something for this one. Uh-oh, look at this guy. Yeah, but I came to check on my car, and they said that a Sport 3 is being shipped up here. So, should have it soon. See this guy, he's got a black S-Class. Inside there, this guy's driving around and shit look like a nightclub in there. He's got the blue lights and shit. Shit is so fucking cool. That's an S580, so that means he probably has the back seat package in there. Look at this wrap. He's got this blue GT53 with a, that's a wrap, definitely. I know that car doesn't come with that color. Yeah, that's a wrap. It's nice. Oh, well, no, some parts are peeling off. You can see the wrap is coming off. But then again, it almost looks like that's a bend. So it's like a little bend there. Yeah, cute car otherwise. I don't think he has like any exhaust add-ons because I really don't hear much. But yeah, it's nice. So here you go, morning coming into New York City. Here we go. There's a traffic accident slightly ahead, and I don't know how bad it is, but it's got traffic backed up for miles in these 2 lanes right here. So something bad must have happened. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know. Okay, so now you can see the lights. You see the flashing police lights. I don't know what happened. Somebody must have hit a pole or something. I don't know. We're going to find out in a minute. And the sad thing is, you got all this goddamn traffic 2-3 miles back, but as soon as you get past whatever this is, it should be like smooth sailing. You know? So I don't know. We're going to find out right now. And see, that's the other problem. Everybody rubbernecking. Everybody's telling you to move faster, but as soon as they get their turn to look and see what happened, everybody's going, uh-oh, here we go, cop car, what we got? Stop blowing, God damn it. Blowing at me is not going to make this go any faster. What are you doing? Uh-oh, what do you do? Oh, we got the cops. Oh, shit. Oh, Hellcat! Oh, he got the Hellcat! Oh, my God, the Hellcat. Caught the Hellcat. Why can't you push that fucking guy onto the curb so that this way everybody else can go? Oh, my God. Look at this. And now it's smooth sailing. Look at this. Got the Hellcat. Shit, look at this. They're trying to pull up a car. Somehow, the car went over the goddamn thing. The divider. Like, what's going on with these people? Why can't y'all just drive your cars? Y'all gotta just mess everything up for everybody, and you gotta ruin traffic and everything. It's ridiculous. And then, what's going on with this rain? I mean, it's another Saturday. We're getting rained again. Rained out. Messing up traffic. Why? This is so unnecessary. So unnecessary. And then and Sunday, it's going to be a nice day tomorrow. This is ridiculous. Okay, so today is October 14th, and right now the stock market's closed. It is Saturday night. So, as you can see, the story basically is the Dow snapped a 3-week losing streak despite stocks mostly falling as Israel-Hamas war intensifies. Now, basically, war in the Middle East always points to the exact same thing. So I'm going to come back to tech stocks in a little while. But the main thing that war in the Middle East, no matter who's fighting, it doesn't really matter. The one thing that it's always going to mean is that oil prices are going to rise. So if you take a look, SLCA, I made big money with those because I bought them at like $1.50 for either one. I bought individual shares at about $1.50, and then they rose all the way. Well, SM rose up to like $50, and I think SLCA rose over 20, and that was because what was it? Almost 2 years ago. I can't really say 2 years because we still have a couple of months to go, but we're closing in on almost 2 years of Russia versus Ukraine. And as you know, when Russia and Ukraine started their conflict, oil prices skyrocketed. Now, you already know that because many of you got stuck paying $5 and $6 a gallon of gas, depending upon where you are. Some of you in California even saw $7, $8, $9, and some people even saw 10. Now, again, war in the Middle East basically is always going to equal the exact same thing. It always equals higher gas prices for us. So basically, as you've probably noticed, electric cars are doing better and better and better because a lot of people are trying to get away from, having to pay money for gasoline and having to, have gas-powered cars. War in the Middle East also means that usually you're going to have issues in the other markets, specifically technology, because, there's a lot of semiconductor stocks and whatnot, especially Intel. Intel, as you know, Intel's Israel, basically. So, those things are designed there at least, and I think a lot of it's printed by Taiwan Semiconductors. So, as you can see, tech is way down across the board. I'm not worried. Microsoft has been doing extremely well. NVIDIA, Apple, Google, Amazon, they're going to be doing extremely well in the future. But the thing about it is right now we've got two conflicts. Because since the last time I made this video, or I made a video, since the last time I made a video, we only had like one conflict. We had Russia versus Ukraine. Now we've got two. So with Russia versus Ukraine, and you have the Israel versus Palestinians, basically at this point, the market is basically on sale. That's the best thing I can basically say. See, I'm not worried about the long term of the market. The long term of the market is up. The problem is the short term is depressing. It's like just looking at all this red. It's like now I know what it feels like to be a cryptocurrency investor, or I should say gambler. But the bottom line is these things continue to pay their dividends, and they continue to be worthwhile investments. I mean, you can't get away from that. As you can see, now I was trying to tell you about buying these chips before everything popped off. So if you didn't get into NVIDIA when I told you to, then yeah, you didn't see any real gain off of that. I also told you about Micron. I was telling you about Micron for the longest. I was telling you to buy Micron before Micron was $60 a share. Right now it's at 69, but it has exceeded 70 and whatnot. It's only down, however, because, obviously the conflicts and the issues with global geopolitics. Micron and AMD, which I was telling you to buy AMD back when AMD was $50. And as you know, because I keep my videos up and I don't delete any of them, you can always go back and look, especially when I was making those videos about bet on chips. I would say NVIDIA basically dragged all the other chip manufacturers drag them upwards, basically. And even though Nvidia is slightly down right now since its high of 500 and something dollars, it's like 450 or something right now. What is it? Yeah, 454. They're definitely going to continue to rise, because you also have to remember, right now Nvidia has produced the 4000 series of RTX GPUs, and they also are dealing with those artificial intelligence risk systems. So over time, they're going to be moving on to the 5000 RTX series, and they're going to be moving on to more advanced RTX and more advanced AI systems. So yeah, again, I'm not worried about them. Intel, of course, Intel's $35. Intel's been, lower than 30, and they're up, $5. But of course, numbers are down this week. I don't know how low things can go, especially considering you have Israel planning to basically invade Gaza and basically planning on like flattening it or whatever they were talking about. So I'm not sure how low these things can go based on the lack of optimism. But the bottom line is the market's on sale. Taiwan Semiconductor, all of these things basically on sale. Oil, as you know, I love oil and gas stocks. Oil and gas stocks are just basically on sale. So GM, and in fact, I shouldn't just say GM, Ford, and Stellantis, because of goddamn strikes, all of them are basically on sale. GM had hit highs above $65 prior to all of this insanity going on. But bottom line is they're on sale, And as far as I know, they're still paying their dividend. It's 1.21. Ford is still paying Ford's up to 5% yield, really. I haven't really looked at it like that, but and even Stellantis, as you can see, Stellantis is at 7.54. I'm holding fast onto my Stellantis, my Ford, and my GM. So yeah, there's that. What else? Cryptocurrency really hasn't gone anywhere, so there's nothing worth talking about there. Even though right now it looks like it's in the green, you can still see that people are still losing money. I mean, XRP, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, it's like the joke's over, guys. The joke is just over. And you're left holding the bag. So it is what it is. Now, let's get back to real money. Let's see, anything worth talking about here? Lucid, Fisker, VinFast, where are they? Because see, here's the thing. Once again, I've told you this before. When you're investing in these electric car companies, the thing that you have to understand is in the short term, you're probably not going to see any real big returns. You have to remember the government itself is mandating these automakers to make these cars. Regardless whether people are buying them or not, the government is mandating them. When you look at Lucid and you see, like I test drove the Air and I made a video about it, Lucid brought out their Sapphire, which is basically the fastest four-door car like that there is. You can beat a Bugatti Veyron when you're driving this shit in a quarter mile. The Lucid Sapphire is $250,000, and this thing's faster than a Bugatti Chiron, which is like $4 million. So that's actually pretty amazing. But the thing that you have to understand is you're not going to really see the returns yet. What we're talking about is a plan over multiple years. By 2030, the gas-powered cars won't even be allowed to be sold in many states, specifically, California and New York. And by 2040, there's going to be a number of other states that, mandate that cars and trucks have to be electric. So one way or another, it's coming. That's one of the reasons why I hold Tesla. So these are things that you just have to understand. It's like you're not investing to try to get rich quick. That's not going to happen, not in this market. There's too much uncertainty. I mean, less than 2 years ago, we didn't even have the Russia-Ukraine war. Now we do. 1 week ago, you didn't have Israel versus Palestine. Now you do. There's so much uncertainty. There's no telling when, or if China could decide to go after Taiwan. It may happen, it may not happen. There's so much uncertainty, you just don't know. But the bottom line is, what you do know is that the laws that have been put in place are basically pushing us in a specific direction. You have to get in on that, and you have to basically say, yeah, I want to make this work for me. Now, that's assuming you even have enough money to even be considering investing. There's some people who have an investment strategy. It's like every single paycheck they invest a little bit more money. My investment strategy is specifically to take YouTube money and to invest that. So, as long as you have a strategy, you're taking your, how should I say, either residual income, or you're taking extra income that you've made, or disposable. I hate to use the word disposable income, but as long as you have a strategy, that's the important thing. See, the way I see it, in order for you to really, really, really have a working strategy, you need to focus on getting the dividend paying stocks that you're comfortable with buying. And then what you need to do is you need to get those stocks as cheaply as possible. And then you need to hold those stocks while building up your dividend paying portfolio account. And you really should be trying to put $100,000 into the stock market. Now, I know that sounds difficult, but first of all, if you have a good strategy over, how should I say, maybe 5 or 6 years, even 7 or 8, let's say over 10 years. Let's say over 10 years, if you were investing close to $10,000 per year, or about $10,000 a year, maybe even a little bit more. If you were investing that much over 10 years, or even 15 years, or even 20 years, and you managed to build a dividend paying stock portfolio where you have over $100,000 in there, you can guarantee that you're going to have some decent returns one way or another. Either it's because the stocks grew in value, or it's because they just kept paying you dividends, and every single year you're collecting and reinvesting. And that's the important thing, not to take the money and to waste it and to buy jewelry or sneakers or some stupid shit. You need to be reinvesting those dividends so that the money that you're earning earns you even more money, earns you even more money, earns you even more money. Now, I know some people ain't trying to hear that. Some people would rather take their money and smoke it up like crystal meth or fentanyl or whatever. I understand that. Some of y'all get high. I know some of y'all be blowing a lot of money on marijuana and other types of performance enhancing drugs and whatever. But the bottom line is, it's like, it's your future. It's like, you have to look out for your retirement. You have to look out for your future. I mean, you could literally have a dividend paying account giving you $5,000 worth of return, maybe even $10,000 worth of return every single year. Like, you know how people get really excited about tax returns? They're getting maybe 3,000 or something, maybe 4,000 back on their tax returns. Those are usually wage slaves. Those are usually people that are living paycheck to paycheck, and they get that tax return and they suddenly feel rich. What I'm talking about is living beyond the tax return. Because see, when I get my tax return, what is this? We're in the middle of October. This will be November, December. We only got about 4 months until it's time to start filing taxes. November, December, January, February, right? I always file my taxes during President's Week in February. When I get my tax return, I'm not spending my tax return. My tax return goes into my bank account. It's like the wage slaves, they get tax returns, and all of a sudden you know it, because all of a sudden they start buying crab legs and oysters, and they start buying all types of expensive bullshit, and then they wonder why they're broke like a month later. It's like, nah, that's when I get my money, it's like I'm trying to figure out how to turn that money into more money. And that's just that simple. It's like there's no rhyme nor reason to it. It's like you need to do that to secure your future. But some people ain't trying to hear me, though, which, I totally understand. Some people get high. So the undisputed winners of the Ukraine, Russia, and the Israel-Palestine situation is probably going to be Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, all of those members of the military-industrial complex, like Northrop Grumman and whatnot. They have let's see. Do I have Lockheed on this one to show? Do I? I thought I did. Logitech. No. Okay. Nope. 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 I think I have Raytheon and Lockheed somewhere next to each other. I have them next to the airplanes, I think. They're here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Lockheed Martin at 441 over the last, what is this? This is them over the last 5 years. As you can see, war is profitable. What is that? That's Lockheed Martin. Do I have Raytheon here or did I have it in a different list? I guess I had a different list. The airlines are not going to be profitable for some time. However, that doesn't mean you can't buy them. I mean, JetBlue is half off right now. I never imagined JetBlue was going to drop below $5, but it did. How about that? So, where it is, let's see, DOJ trial to block JetBlue's planned Spirit deal delayed a week. So, yeah, the airlines, yeah, they're not profitable, especially since COVID. But the thing about it is they're all on sale. Delta is a strong buy. Delta's going to be around. They're in no danger of going bankrupt. Same goes for American Airlines. Same goes for United Airlines. Because you got to understand, all of these freaking airlines, these things are part of the military-industrial complex, no matter how you slice it. They're making engines. They're making radars. They're making all this stuff. It's like when you buy into these things, yeah, you may not see the payback now, but give it a couple of years, maybe 10 years or something, you'll see the payback thing. Because it was amazing. During COVID, these things dropped real low, and then they bounced back. But over time, you saw them start to fall again. And I believe once this Ukraine-Russia situation, because they're gonna have to end this soon. They can't. They're out of ammunition for the most part. Not Russia, Ukraine, and most of the other countries don't want to give them any more money and don't want to give them any more ammo. Now you enter Israel versus Palestine. They're taking away the attention from Ukraine. And now Zelensky's worried because he knows it's like, wait a minute. If y'all take away the attention off of the Ukraine-Russia situation and you put it into Israel versus Palestine, well, we're in trouble. We're going to have to surrender eventually because they're out of ammo. It's like it took us so long to put those F-16s and the M1 Abrams tanks over there. And now, like, Russia basically did exactly what I expected that they were doing in the very beginning. What they did was they grinded Ukraine down. They just grinded them down. The Russians are, no matter what you see them say, no matter what the propaganda says, these are professional war. That's what Russia does. They do war. That's what they do. They're professionals at war. These other guys they're professionals at politics. They're professionals at PR campaigns. They know how to make it look good for propaganda purposes, but in the end of the day, they're getting their asses whipped. And you see it. Now you see it. It's like when you play chess. You don't have to checkmate your opponent. All you have to do is run his clock out. Well, Vladimir Putin knew he wasn't going to be able to checkmate you, so what he did was he ran your clock out. You were making all these moves, and he was just making little moves here and there, and now you lose because your clock ran out. You ain't got no more time. He grinded you down. That's what it was. Sorry. Game over, boys. Game over. But other than that, the banks, as you can see, the banks are strong buys. The banks, the strongest of which is J.P. Morgan Chase. Now, the other banks survive mostly because, mortgages, their personal credit cards from the banks. Visa and MasterCard, of course, are doing quite well. Wait, where do I have Visa and MasterCard? They're here somewhere. Oh, yes. Visa and MasterCard are doing quite well. You got MasterCard at $400 a share. You got Visa at $237 per share. Yeah, in the short term, it may look like they're not doing great. But if you look at them over the last 5 years, or if you look at them over the last 2 years, you can clearly see just how well they're doing. I mean, MasterCard went from, what was it, 290 up to, where were they? They were at 415, and then they pay a 57% dividend. So the banks and the oil. I've always said this, banks and oil. That's where you want to put your money. If you're looking for dividend-paying stock, banks and oil. You can't go wrong. It doesn't matter how much of that stock you own. It's just that even if you have to buy lots and lots of different stocks and you continue to get dividends, they all add up. And that's just how it works. So, it's like you invest here and there. Invest in what you believe in. If you like a specific bank, invest in it. If you like a specific gas company, invest in it. Sunoco has been paying me dividends. I believe it started at like 9% and it went down to like 7. I'm not sure what they're paying right now, but I don't even bother looking anymore. It's just like I just sit back and just watch the money just pile up. And then, again, I reinvest my dividends. I don't just take the money and waste it. So, invest in what you like. You don't have to choose companies you don't know anything about. I would never recommend that. I invest in companies that I trust, specifically the big companies, the big corporations. Banks and oil, you can't go wrong. When it comes to my personal index, the tech companies with Mangoat, I mean, right now things aren't that great, but I'm still up because I purchased when they were way down. We're moving towards the Christmas season. As you know, with the Christmas season, tech does pretty well. Apple will be selling Apple Watches. They'll be selling iPhones. They'll be selling iPads. Microsoft will be selling Xboxes. The tech sector typically tends to rebound around Christmas, or I should say the period between Black Friday, November after Thanksgiving, and pretty much January. Now, the tech sector tends to do pretty well. But the reality is, I mean, yeah, we have so much economic uncertainty. We have so much global uncertainty. It's knocking everything down because, part of this is because of the interest rates. People can't afford to buy the way they normally would be buying. But you have to remember that has, plummeted most of the market. It's put it on sale. So if, cars aren't selling, tech's not selling, this is your chance to be purchasing those stocks, especially if they pay dividends, because at least they'll let you know that they are profitable. So I guess that's all I basically have to say. I don't really have to ramble much more. So we got this, this war situation. I don't know how this is going to resolve. I do know eventually it's going to end one way or another. So the bottom line is you need to have a plan for your money over the next 10 years. My personal recommendation is that you focus on building up a stock portfolio. $100,000. That's where you want to be. You want to have at least $100,000 in stocks. And I know it's a tall order. It's easier probably for most people to save up $100,000 in savings than it is to save it up in a stock portfolio. But with discipline and, constant investment in discipline, reinvestment of dividends, it's possible to do. On a side note, I have to mention the fact that I was notified by Cadillac today, in fact, that my Lyric has been obviously built. It has its VIN number, and it's just been loaded onto the train. The train is coming from Tennessee here to their distribution center in, I believe, North Jersey. And I was told that I can expect at least, or at most, they're not exactly sure, around 3 weeks worth of wait. So even when she told me this on the phone, I was like, 3 weeks? Are you kidding? And I just couldn't hold it back because I am so, I've never had to wait for anything this long. Like, I've just never had to wait for anything this long. Even when we've had like video game consoles and stuff, it's like you knew when the release date was. Like, you knew if you had to wait till Christmas, you knew it wasn't going to come out till that week or something. Or even with iPhone, your wait is 1 year, but you know that it's going to be 1 year. But obviously, this is mostly because of the UAW, the strike, the uncertainty, and blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is, yeah, it's coming. And the thing about it is, as much as I would love to just go and get a Mercedes, or as much as I would love to just say, hey, BMW, you know what? You've got these i7s and you've got a lease on the i7 and it keeps getting cheaper, or you got a lease on the iX and it keeps getting cheaper. As much as I'd love to just walk into BMW and say, hey, here's $8,000, I'll take an iX. Or here's, what is it, $8,000, I'll take a $1,200 a month i7. As much as I'd love to do that, the problem is I don't like their product. And Mercedes, I keep wishing that they had made the S-Class electric rather than making the dumbass EQS and then making it lesser of a product than the S-Class. So basically, you're in a situation where you can't get what you want, and the things that they offer are things you don't want, or they're just not full product. They just don't have what you want. It sucks, but the thing about it is I'm extremely patient. And, as I kind of expected, I knew I would probably have the thing before Thanksgiving. So it looks like my target may be the week before Thanksgiving that I actually get my car. And I never knew it was going to take this long. But hey, what are you going to do? I mean, back-to-back problems plus a UAW strike. What are you going to do? So I just figured I'd throw that in there as a little bit of an update. And that's what it is before I'm able to get my hands on it.
To be continued.